Hey there, everyone. A little experiment this is. I'll see how this plays out. Just to let you know, we'll be watching a film tonight, the first spin-off film. Just to let you know, it won't appear on the screen at any place or anything like that. Obviously, for copyright reasons, I've got it on my TV. So if you see me looking over in that direction, that's where it's playing on my TV set. What I'll do is I'll run through it. I'll tell you when to press play on your own DVDs if you've got it here, or if you'd rather just like listen to me rambling, give you the odd facts about the film. That's up to yourself. You can do that as well. As I say, don't expect to see the film showing up on the screen because that's copyright protected. It would get taken down. Wouldn't survive up on the group for more than a minute. It'll be down. So what we'll do is I'll play the film. I'll let you know when I'm going to press play on it, so that we're all in sync. We're all at the same point of the film, if you get what I'm saying. And probably start around about 6:05. So just so for any latecomers who want to join in, and I'll run through some facts about the film before we start at about 6:05. I'll tell you when to press play, so we're all in sync. At the moment, mine's is on the screen where it's just play feature, and then I'll press play on that, and it'll take us into the studio canal theme that you get, and then right into the film, so that we're all running along at the same part of the film, if you get what I'm saying. So the film, the first film that came about, Hammer were looking to produce comedy films, and they were looking at various sitcoms. On the Buses was really popular at that time, so they contacted the writers, asked them who had the rights to On the Buses. LWT hadn't signed up any of the rights for the film, so they said, well, the writers said, well, I suppose we do, as the writers and creators are On the Buses. So that opened the door for Hammer to get the rights to the films. That's why LWT don't play a part, have any part in the actual spin-off films. The first film went into production after Series 4 had finished filming. So Series 4 finished filming in early 1971. The film went into production April 71 and finished by filming by the end of May 1971, and by summertime it was out in it was getting its release in the cinemas. So that was the timeline for the spin-off films. LWT, as you can imagine, weren't best pleased with the not having any part to do in the film, but it was, I suppose, their own faults for not writing things into the contracts for On the Buses. So, as I say, anytime when I'm ready to pause the film and I've got something interesting to tell you, I will say pause the film if you'd like to press pause, and then I can tell you without fear of missing anything else. I can give you a little bit of information on the film, so it's a sort of little commentary as it runs along. And anybody, obviously, who's going to be watching this on playback, once it remains on the channel, they can do so with a DVD, plus put a DVD in and play along as well. And we'll see how this goes. If it's a success and you enjoy it, then I'll go ahead and try doing the same with the rest of the films and the TV series as well. But as I say, this is the only way I'll be able to do it because of copyright issues. Can't put any of the films up on the screen and me do a commentary over the top of it like that, because it would get taken down for copyright infringement. Right, it's almost 6:05 now. So if you've got all your DVDs ready and in the machine and ready to go, and it's on the menu page with play feature, they're just about to press play now. So we'll get started on the film now, okay? So just about to press play, okay? Okay, so you're now on to the Studio Canal Plus intro. and EMI Films. Okay, if you just want to stop it just now at the point where the bus is coming out of the depot, I'll just pause it just now, because the depot there, that is obviously, if anybody's been to Boreham Wood, that is where the Tesco Extra stands there now. That was Soundstage 5 that doubled as the bus depot that you see on the screen there. Sadly, that got demolished in the mid-1980s. Around the mid-1980s, the studios were bought over by a property developing company called Brent Walker, and they decided to sell off half of the lot. They would have done the whole of the studios would have been wiped from existence if it hadn't been for our Save Our Studios group. It was too late to save the portion of the studios that was demolished, i.e. Soundstage 5 and a lot more, but the rest of the studios was saved thanks to our Save Our Studios campaign. That's the remainder of the studios that you see in Boreham Wood today. Okay, so you can press play again now. Okay, that's Moira Foot there. You see changing the, who was obviously big in, she was a big part of Hell's Angels, Benny and the Benny Hill show. This is Anna Michaels, who's got the problems with her straps here. Only in the TV series Pete you get to see the Jack's house. This was her only credited, only film credit, Anna Michaels. You can see there, if you look in the background, just pause it here just shortly, you can see in the background above the brickwork, just pausing it there, above the brickwork and the sort of girders that they've got, then you've got it where it's pitch black. Obviously, that's where you can see that it's a soundstage and not an actual bona fide depot. Otherwise, the brickwork would go right up the side of the building, obviously, but it doesn't there. You can see that's, you can see the top of the actual set there. So we'll press play again. And then pressing just a pause again, just as they're going to walking towards the bus there. Obviously, Stephen's moustache was fake. He didn't actually have a moustache in real life. That was just all part of to play into the Hitler persona. If anybody's watched, anyone that's watched Still Game, you may know there's a character called Bobby. He's played by Gavin Mitchell. Gavin was telling me that he done a show with him in the 1990s called Revolver, and he said Stephen Lewis, he actually had in a little tin box. He said he took it everywhere. He had Blakey's moustache, and we'd put it on and go right into the Blakey character. Okay, so you can press play again, just as I'm walking over to get in the bus. Now we hear the musical theme spiking up. So just pause it now if you want to pause it again. This is coming down the high street in Boreham Wood, known as Shenley Road. You'll have seen it on my locations run through. Just a word on the theme music by Quince Harmon. Quince Harmon, it came about by the film. They came about doing the music for the film because EMI were looking to promote them. They had signed them up for the label and they were looking to promote the band. And they thought getting them to do this song would help to promote the band. The band was Northeastern. They did start playing in the up in the northeast around Yorkshire and Newcastle area. They played in working men clubs. Sadly, it didn't really kick on their career any great deal. I think they disbanded and then got back together again in the 1980s, 1990s. I do believe that they're still playing under a different band name. I can't think of what it is for just now, but you can press play again now. See, now there you can see what I was saying in my Mythbuster there. If you just watch it, that bit there, I just paused it just as it's gone past there. You could quite clearly see that was back projection being used there when the bus is coming along with Stan in the cab. You can quite clearly see that as just moving back projection. So that bus wouldn't have actually been moving as it is here. The long distance shot, yeah, that's obviously a bus moving through the streets. But the one where you seen them in the driver's cab would have been the bus would have been sat in the studios there for that one. And this would have been, in my mind, this would have been a professional driver driving this bus here from a long distance when he passes the passengers at the bus stop. This is in Rossington Avenue where this was filmed, by the way. So just past the bus stop now. See, they've seen it there when it says full up. You could see that was what it wasn't. Now there you can see there that was actually pulling up at the stop there. So you would have definitely have been driving there, but no, as you see, it's just pulling the bus to a stop. It's not really any dangerous driving it they've got them doing. So we'll press play again. So that's Reg Varney being credited on the screen now. I felt that the theme was an excellent theme because it really did get you in the mood for the film. It was like the Carry On films at that time were exactly the same as well. If you watch the bus takes off really quickly here with Anna getting on and she can see she nearly falls over. This is First Road now in northeast Boreham Wood. Again, you could see there that is moving just when we see the point. I paused it now at the point where the bus is about to pass a woman who's washing her car. And then you see a surprised look on Stan's face. You can quite clearly see again that is back projection again. And as well, if you have a look at that point, just at pausing it at the point when he's in the back of the just at the rear of his head there, you can see the actual original green livery of the Eastern National Bus, which it originally came from. So press and play again now. The houses in the background haven't really changed at all. The other side of the road there's actually some houses being built there now. Blonde-haired lady now about to go up the stairs. Jack has a look at her pants as she goes up. That's actually Linda Regan, who's now married to Brian Murphy. She's a very successful crime thriller writer and an actress, of course. She was in stuff like Hide Your High. Again, back onto Shenley Road. And here we see the bus turning into White House Avenue and Boreham Wood. And then up, this is now onto Malden Road, the Butler House. has changed quite a bit. The house has. It's all sort of like the original brickwork has all been whitewashed over, which is a shame, really. And the garden wall's gone as well. Back to White House Avenue. The bus shelter and bus stop and the where he's dropping his way bill, and that would have all been props for the part for the film. You can see how chilly it was with the breath coming out of Jack's mouth. You can see it doing the cold when they were filming that on that day. You're getting a little continuity error here because at one point he's eating something like a mandarin or an orange, and then it turns into something totally different. Now that bit there, just on like there you go. That's not a fruit, but you can see it changes to something else. The scene where I've just paused it now, where he's snogging on the bed with Turnaround Betty, played by Andrea Lawrence. That would have been in the depot set, not in the actual house itself. They would have filmed that in the depot set. So play again. Now there you go. You can see I'm just eating on an orange. It's changed into. Now I'll pause it there. If you pause it at a point, if you're a little bit behind, if you pause it at the point where Jack's lying on the bed on top of her, and you can get a view out of the window there. You can see what is out of the window there isn't what you see out of the window at the actual house. That's how you know that it's not actually there that they filmed it, if you see what I'm saying. Different backdrop out of those windows as to what you would see if you're actually in that house. Okay, so press play again. Just had the other bus pulling up outside. And there's Blakey. See, now there you can see what I mean. It's bungalows across the road, but there it's like a two-story house that you can see across the road. That's how you know it's something, and it's just not there that they filmed it. So if you watch a bit coming up now, I'm just going to carry on playing it just now. Jack's just getting his tie on coming across the road here. If you watch this bit now when Blakey tells him to get the bus out, no sooner does Stan run around the corner of the bus and the bus takes off. So again, you can tell straight away that that was a professional driver that they had in there. There he is there. They both go to get in the bus. See how quickly the bus left without even Reg having the time to get into the actual cab. Because you see on the side of the bus and everything, like Littlewoods and all of that, that was all carefully placed there. Littlewoods would pay money to put on this, get an advert on the side of the bus. So that all went back into the revenue for making the film. That was all the idea of Roy Skeggs, that was. David Lodge there. Very close friends with Peter Sellers, David Lodge was. was actually his best man at his wedding. Of course, David Lodge was Peter Sellers' sergeant, I think, in the army. Sort of took him under his wing, and they remained friends from into their showbiz years and beyond. Again, here the Butler house now, where Mum's get set on the table. This would have all been on a studio set as well, not actually at 2 Malden Road, just on a studio set. Olive always gave as good as she got there with Michael Robbins, if you with Arthur. I mean, I love his facial expressions as well there with a wince. Let's pause it there. That's where the 2 women drivers being introduced. Of course, you've got Pamela Condell there on the right. Lovely lady. I think she was at our first couple of On the Buses events that are organised. You've got Pat Coombs there as well. Pat Coombs, of course, who went on to be in the spin-off, Don't Drink the Water. Just press play again. That's just at the point where they've said, where Jack's about to say, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I love the drive deliveries that Arthur's got, like there. I can't say I've noticed. Really great. The way he delivers it. Deadpan delivery. Olive thinks her luck's in there here at this point now. This is when he's asking her to tell her about the going for a job at the canteen. The machine there that they're doing the snacks in, it was actually a company. It wasn't actual props, so it was a real machine company, I do believe, Austin Automatics. One thing where this might have been filmed, all of this could have been actually, they might have used the manager's house for filming in, because it does look like because they do film the backyard out in the backyards at the back of the manager's house, so they maybe used the manager's house downstairs for the filming of those shots as well. More likely the studios, so as I say. This was a variation now where Olive's in the canteen. It's a variation of obviously a storyline that they had used in a Series 1 episode of On the Buses, but more more elaborate. Obviously, you see Blakey getting shocked in a minute as well, which didn't happen in the TV series. Great line by Jack now. He says, leave it, it'll put out the joint. Of course. Rosanna with a bottle with glasses and all of that. They obviously have dumbed down seriously for the part of Olive with the wig for her, making her look really dowdy, the dowdy clothes as well. She was really an attractive woman. Family, now we'll pause it here just on this part where the family planning clinic sign is up. That's in the background there, you can see it's a manager's house, which no longer exists on the grounds at L3 Studios. That's been demolished. That is roughly around about in the car park area that's of the studios that still remains, not in the Tesco car park, the actual car park of the L3 Studios that remains. So we'll just press play again. And here, this is outside. I'll just pause again. Where the bus has just pulled up now and Jack's got off. This is right outside, which would have been the whole of the L3 Studios. Now, where the bus has stopped, is just at the front of the Tesco Extra car park. Just when you see this van going past in the background, a positive part with an orange van going past in the background. Beyond that, you'll see there's a tallish building that was the cinema in Borehamwood, Studio 70, I think it was called, which got demolished in the late 70s, early 80s. Since then, there's been a couple of buildings. One building went up, that got knocked down, and a new one went up maybe in the last couple of years, an even taller block of flats. Okay, so I'll press play again. There you can see it there just beyond the road sign. The road sign is still there. Beyond stand in the background there, you can see just as the bus is pulling away, you'll see the building just there with a just sort of glimpse of the tall chimneys. That is now a McDonald's. It was the Red Lion pub at that time where a lot of the cast and crew went for drinks that worked at the studios. Great line coming up from Arthur now saying, "Oh no, I'm not giving up my telly." Now, pause it here just as the bus is about to turn into the depot here. How we can pinpoint exactly where the depot was in relation to today is if you have a look on the far left of shot, you can see sort of like windows along the side of our building. That is our building that still stands on the portion of the studios that still remains. So we can use that as a guide to where that stands. It's right adjacent to where the actual Soundstage 5 stood. So that's a good gauge of how you can work out exactly where about the depot would have been, or the Soundstage 5, sorry. So I'll just press play again, just as the bus is turning the corner, about to go into the garage. See, that was Reg driving again there as the bus slowly pulled in. You could see quite clearly the bus moving and Reg in the driving seat again, just when he's pulling the bus to a stop. Ladies there being Pat Coombs, Claire Davenport, who was also in an episode on the buses, Pamela Cundell, and far right of shot for the time being anyway was Eunice Black, who was in a few episodes. She also went on to be in Holiday on the Buses as well, of course. It's a great bit with putting the pump up his leg. He's really good. Reg was at just putting on a pained expression. Always find his pained expressions were really believable. If you get what I'm saying. That looks absolutely disgusting. Whatever it is, Olive's plated up. Like how Mum always had a problem saying laundrette. That was always laundriette. It's Brenda Gogan there, who did attend one of our Holiday on the Buses cast reunion events in Wales about 3-4 years ago. Well, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, sorry. It was a mixture, Stephen, a mixture of extras and holiday makers. So it was a bit of both. Brenda went on to be like Anna did, and later on in life, where she taught grammar at a school in Drogheda, in Ireland. You will see the bus, just pause it here, as we see the bus coming up towards the laundrette. This is Manor Way. The bus is heading north to south down Manor Way. The building that's across the way from it, sort of long, elongated building, that's a Christian fellowship church. It's still there to this day. Not really changed a great deal. Just press play again. See the crowds in the background there watching, a heck of a lot of people. This here, just pause it there. We are hanging our knickers up for these all clear sign. The brick wall there has been rebuilt over the years. You can see how it's got different sort of two-tone brickwork now. They've obviously knocked it down and rebuilt it, and are part of it. And there's the trees no longer there in that garden now today at White House Avenue. So just press play again. The pole is there that holds up the washing line, but no washing line today. So here we see Jack taking his machine off. You know what? The walls there are gone outside the property as well at White House Avenue. Here we are back at Manor Way. Today, that's totally unchanged. Everything's near enough exactly as was back in 1971. Now you see Wendy Richard coming out, and the woman that's with her, that is Jean Varney, Reg's daughter. So whacking, just pausing it now. She's just giving Blakey a whack with a bag there. That's Jean Varney on the left of shot. She never actually went into acting or anything like that. She always wanted to be a teacher, and that's what she did go on to become, was a teacher. That's what she still does to this day. The other woman, of course, is Wendy Richard, who has been in so many hit TV series, obviously more famously for Are You Being Served, and also EastEnders later on in later years. So just press play again. Of course, a policeman coming along there, you may notice him, he went on to have a role in Crossroads, played like a religious zealot by the name of Reg Cotterill, I think it was. Women drivers again. Claire Davenport, nearest the camera there. I like his line when he says, technically, it's like Russian athletes. You can post up any questions that you've got as well during the film, and I'll answer them for you if you see them on the screen. Like this bit where he says a pregnant woman, she goes a sign, pregnant woman, and he says, it's my sister come down from upstairs. Well, this is a fantastic line here from Arthur again. Michael Robbins with a great delivery. That is not it's not in the pajama cord. Facial expression again, just great. Always feel he would have been great in Carry On films because they loved that in Carry On films, having the facial expressions to go with a punchline. There's Tex Fuller there, who've done a lot. They've done the riding of the motorbike and the stunt scenes, especially on Holiday on Mutiny on the Buses. Sorry. There's a busman called Harry in this film. Again at White House Avenue again. Andrea Lawrence was also in an episode on the buses. Probably got a role in this for she was close friends with Roy Skeggs, the executive producer. Was in Hammer films as well. Was it Scars of Dracula? Was it she was in? One of the Dracula films, anyway. Was also Andrea also was at a number of the Boreham Wood on the buses events that organised. So now we see this is Nosha Powell here. Now, if I pause just for a minute, just as we see Nosha coming out of the van. Right, there you go. You see it from up above, and they're looking down. And that's Nosha Powell coming out of the van there. He plays Betty's husband in this. Nosha Powell, for anyone who doesn't know him, I mean, he had an absolutely incredible life, and what he done in his life was unbelievable. He was a really talented boxer. I think he won the amateur title. He was also sparred with some of the great boxers of all time, like Sonny Liston, Cassius Clay, right being Sugar Ray Robinson. Obviously, after that, he went on to do stunt work as well in films. He was obviously a stuntman in a lot of the early James Bond films. As Tex Fuller, he was a great stuntman as well. But Nosha Powell was stuntman in a lot of the big films in the 1960s, like When Eagles Dare. He was in The Italian Job, stuntman, and things like. He was also in Demetrius in The Gladiator. So many things he was a stuntman in as well. His CV is unbelievable. He was also a chaperone for stars. He was a chaperone for, I think, for Sammy Davis Jr. and Sophia Loren. And also, like, famously, the rumor goes that he stopped one of the Cray twins from coming into the pub for a drink, into his pub for a drink. So he's the life that he's had. There is a book out there on his life. It's got an autobiography, there's an autobiography out, which is well worth getting, well worth a read, just so you know what he got up to in his life, because it really was amazing. Okay, so press play again. So if we watch this part now that's just about to come up, and it's another part where you'll be able to clearly see it's all back projection, so it wouldn't have been Reg driving the bus into the shelter and into the he's just getting into the bus now. So just when he starts moving the bus, I'll pause it. So there you can see that is our back projection that they've used there. Again, you can just see by the outline around Reg's around the whole of the bus into the background. It's not natural. It's a back projection that they've used again. So clearly not Reg doing the driving of the bus at this point. This would have all been just done back in the studios. Play it again. There's text falling off the back of the bus. Again, back projection. You can see that would have been our professional driver smashing into the telephone box and reversing into the bus shelter. Reg had a PSV license, so he could drive the bus, but he was totally uninsured. So obviously the buses didn't belong to the film company, so they had to be very careful that they didn't do any damage to the buses. The buses used in the films were owned by a private, was Brian Alton, the depot manager. The buses were actually owned by a private owner by this time. They had been ex-Eastern National stock, but they had went out of service about a couple of months before this film went into production. I think his name was S12. He was like a private collector of buses, and he leased the buses to Hammer for the film for this film. So they were retired from Eastern National stock by this time. But even so, the owner obviously they were his buses. He wouldn't have wanted them smashed up. So again, because Reg was uninsured, he wouldn't be doing any of the dangerous driving. Here we are at Chiswick, this skid pan facility that was demolished in the 1980s. It's a business park that stands there now. Reg did actually sit and do this skid pan pass on the skid pan to get his PSV, but obviously he never done it in the film. That again would have been a professional driver, but he would have actually done it a few years earlier to get his PSV license. Sorry to hear that, Neil. Hope she gets well soon. Hope it's not too bad anyway. I hope she's getting better now. That's Norman Mitchell, who was in a fair few episodes of On the Buses as well, and Carry On films, of course. That's Peter Madden there. So this was actually, if we pause it here, just when he's about to close the door and go on the skid pan, LWT did actually, they didn't want anything to do with the being involved in the TV series. When they were about to start making the TV series, Stuart Allen, the producer of the TV series, went to see London Transport about use of the buses and depot to film in. I think it was a Stonebridge depot or Willesden depots, one of those two it was. But they said, no, we don't want anything to do with it. It'll make our drivers look lazy and uncouth and the buses unpunctual and all that. So they turned down the opportunity. But by the time this film went into production, On the Buses had been a massive success. And LWT actually, London Transport, wrote to the writers asking, offering the use of a skid pan facility and our use of the buses as well, which is this is a bus here you see about to go on the skid pan. That's a London Transport bus And obviously the skid pan facility is London Transport, so it was quite a big come down for London Transport from absolutely not wanting anything to do with the show, then writing to the writers and saying offering the skid pan facility and asking to be involved in the film. The writers actually framed the letter and put it up in their office. Just press play now, and he's about to head off on his skid pan test. Norman Mitchell just speaking to Blake on the black step there. So the bus pulling away here. So business park that stands there now. You have actually been to the business park and got as good as a like for like that I can get. Again, here you can see now, just pause it now, when the buses, and you see other buses parked in the background, when that again is back projection being used. You can just see it just looks unnatural at that point. So just press play again, just as he's about to go into his first skid now. Stephen did do all these stunts here himself, so that is him rolling about on the bus there, and when you see him fall off the back of the bus. So he's about to go on his second circuit now. So about to go into his second skid. So if you watch here, you can see the wheels on the back of a trolley as he's skidding along here. You can just see them there, the wheels on the underneath his. So he's obviously on a little trolley there to stop him skidding along. He was actually on a little trolley with wheels on it to give him that sort of sliding look without actually doing any damage to himself or any great damage. So here now they're about to go out into the backyard when they're going to check on the motorbike. So I'll just let you know when they're about to go there if you want to catch up, if you've fallen behind with where I am in the film. Right, so Arthur and Stan are just about to head out into the backyard. So just pause it now. That's them out going out in the backyard. Now, if you look right above Arthur's head, just as soon as they've walked out to his right, you see the drain pipe of the house. This would have been the studio manager's house, the backyard that they filmed this in, because you can look up above Arthur's head, just to the over to his right, and you can see the white markings above the windows. That's part of what was the old powerhouse, which still stands there to this day. I'm not sure if it's still the powerhouse for the with all the generators in and all of that for the studios, but you can see it there, and it's still like that today with the white markings above the windows. If you look up right directly above Reg's head, you can see sort of like a brick work top of the studios with grooves in the top of it, which is still there to this day as well. So that's how you can work out exactly where they were for filming this scene, because those two parts of the studios are still there to this day. So just press play again. And you see another shot now when it goes to Arthur. The shocked look on his face when he's just pushed the sidecar over. You see, I paused it just now at the part where Arthur's got a shocked look on his face. If you look over the back of that sort of like wooden grille fence, you can see the white buildings that was part of the old studios. I think that was where studios 1 and 2 were at that part there, but they've all been demolished now. That would be what is now the road leading into the Tesco car park. So just press play again. Let's pause it here at the part now. This is Teddy Duggan here, who was married to Anna Karen. He was also in a few episodes of On the Buses as well. Teddy as well, you might not know, but he was actually in the, if you watch the very start of 2001 Space Odyssey, when you see the leopard getting attacked by a monkey, that was Teddy Duggan in the monkey suit. So he was actually in that film, although he's not actually credited, but it was him in that film at the very start of 2001 Space Odyssey. He's also in an episode of Only Fools and Horses. I think it's one Arthur's Ashes, when he's the one where they've got the urns and the girl's trying to get rid of it, and he's died in a dust cart. And it comes along and scoops up the urn. So just press play again now, just as he's painting the diversion signs. So we'll just pause it here. This is when you see the bus coming towards its first diversion sign. This is all filmed in the north of Boreham Woods, north area of Boreham Woods. Let's press play again. The houses are roughly still the same here. This was these diversion signs here, as you can see, back projection being used again there. These houses have changed in appearance. They're not all white now. They've all sort of like changed to different facades, obviously, because a lot of them will most probably be privately owned now, whereas back in the day they were doing council owned. Again, note the green paint there on the door as she's about to get out there again, just then shows that it was actually originally green buses, Eastern National buses. These were Bristol KSWs, by the way, older stock than they used in the TV series, which were Bristol Ledeckas. There you see Anna in her baby doll nightie. That was one of the things when the TV series ended. They asked anything if there was anything, any part of the wardrobe that they wanted to keep, and Anna chose the baby doll nightie. So they're about to go on to the spiders in the cab scene now. I like the little sort of like the itchy sort of sounds that you get in the when the bus is going along and she's trying to scratch her legs. A full part this bit, of course, you see here with Pat about to walking up to her bus and she's got boots on. But then they change to there you go now, pause it now. The bus is out in the streets now. This is Aycliffe Road that the bus is coming down. Even Road at the top there. Out the shops are all lined are still the same. This shopping parade, obviously the shops have changed hands lots of times. Obviously they're not exactly the same shops, but obviously structurally they're exactly near enough exactly the same. So we'll press play again. Again, back projection there with Pat and the cab. There you go. There's her shoes there. They've changed from boots that you saw in the depot. This is coming down Grove Road now. That was just past the entrance to Grove Road. It's not really changed at all. Now this is up onto Stanborough Avenue with the policeman standing at the foot of. It's Pat Ashton. The first time we see Pat Ashton there. Obviously, she was in a couple of episodes as well of On the Buses. Sadly, passed away now. Pat passed away a few years ago. Wasn't even reported anywhere. The only place I think that reported it was might have been the Daily Telegraph, and that was only because her son actually worked for the Daily Telegraph. They were the only place that reported her passing, which is really pretty sad. Now we get a clue here as well. This is where he's snogging Sally on the settee. We get a clue when he goes out. If you watch the part when he goes out to answer the door and Jack's there with the rest of the busmen, you can see again how this isn't 2 Malden Road that they filmed in, because what's behind them is totally different to what you would see out the door at 2 Malden Road. So when Stan goes to close the curtains and he looks out and he sees the busman there. Right there, that isn't what you see across the road at 2 Malden Road. And when he goes out and answers them at the door, again, the backdrop of what you see behind is not 2 Malden Road. That's how you can tell that was all done at the studios. So here, there's no houses behind there. If that was, I'll just pause it here, just so he's going to, Jack's going to speak to him. Right across, if that was looking out the door at 2 Malden Road, you'd be looking right down Clarendon Road onto Shenley Road. That's the view that you would get. You wouldn't see any houses behind you. That's how you know that was all done on the studio set. Going on to what Neil's saying about obviously about Pat Ashton as well, just a little interesting thing as well. Obviously, she played the secretary and oh no, it's Selwyn Froggatt. Was it the gaffer? One of the two series anyway. But speaking to Bill Maynard, did sadly a few months before he passed away, done a couple of interviews with him, and he said that they were there was people that was they had to do, they were choosing who was going to play the part of the secretary, and 2 girls went for it. Pat went for a screen test, another girl went for the screen test. Bill said that he got the names of the women mixed up, and he said that he preferred Pat Ashton for the part, although he actually preferred the other women. But as it turned out, he said it was the best mistake he ever made, because Pat Ashton was absolutely brilliant in the role. He said it's the best mistake he had ever made in show business. So there's an interesting little fact for you. So I'm about to start press play again, just when Jack's about to answer Stan. Just press play now. Again, here I'll just pause it again. If you ever look to the side of Jack's head there, you can look at the white brickwork. Now that would be accurate if it was actually today, because that's what there is now. It's all been whitewashed, the brickwork outside 2 Malden Road. But back then it was definitely pure bricks that you would have seen there. So that's another clue that it wasn't 2 Malden Road. So just press play again, just like when Jack's in the midst of saying the lads are going to do you. And he's starting his countdown now. Here's all the baby equipment they've got, just really crammed back home in the Butler house now. Just pause it just now. We'll be back in a tick. Diuretic pill scenes now are shooting that onto now. Like a bit where he says nothing like a cup of tea to keep you going in the morning. And he says, hey, that one will. So here with the bus, just pause it now when it's going into the garage, stop for the toilets. This is up at St Albans Road. The garage is still there, but it's been greatly refurbished over the years. It's now sort of like more of a car wash sort of facility, but it's still actually there to this day. It has been greatly refurbished. So just press play again. Now here's pause it here for this the toilets here at the Park Street. Toilets here at Park Street, where you see them getting out and the two buses parked together in front next to one another. The flats that you see in the background are still there to this day, as are mostly everything else in this area. It's all pretty much unchanged, which is unusual for locations nowadays. We just press play again now with, I think it's Pamela jumping out the bus there with Pat Coombs running to get into the toilets together. Now here, I'll pause it here. This is Pamela coming out of a ladies' toilet. This is in the white. This is the White Lion pub, the White Horse, sorry, pub in Shenley. We done this on a walking tour a few weeks ago. The tree is still there to this day. This part here, by where the toilet that she's coming out of, all of that has changed now. There's no door there anymore. It's more the windows have been put in there. It's been totally refurbished around this area. The drain pipe is still there, just changed angle a little bit as well. But the door isn't there anymore, but the outline of the door still remains. But the tree is still there to this day in the sort of like the beer garden as is now. And here, as you see the man watering his plants, that's still there to this day. But the house, the plants, and the houses in the background as well are still the same. Pause it here now when you see just pause it now when you see the bus coming along a country lane. This is in London Road, which is about half a mile to the south of Shenley. So about half a mile to the south, half a mile, 3/4 of a mile to the south of Shenley. This is. You can see the little duck track that's opposite where the bus is about to pull up. There's a sort of like a duck track that leads up to what is today it's Cross Oaks Farm, but that's more being concreted over. It's like a proper concrete road there that's there now. Giveaway to this location, finding it is if you have a look here, the buses between in front of it, you can see a telegraph pole. Just behind the bus, you see a telegraph pole, and one further in the distance. So you've got three telegraph poles all there, which helps pinpoint this location. So just press play to carry on. She's still a teacher, Frankie. She never got involved in any acting. That's David Rowlands there, the person on the upper deck of the bus. He actually went on to own a farm, and I think it's in Wales or Devon or somewhere like that. He ran a farm. I'll tell a lie there, the doorway is white, but I guarantee that wasn't filmed in outside there, because as you can see what's behind Arthur there outside 2 Malden Road is totally what you want seeing behind the Jack and the other busman when they were speaking in that scene earlier on. The brick wall outside the Butler House is all gone now, of course, as well. That's just an open space there, where I think they store things like wheelie bins in there now. So just carrying on, and this is Olive. They're getting Olive ready to go to the hospital. Stan's got the specimen. Motorbike here is a BSA M21, by the way, the motorbike that they used. This was a different model from the one that they used in Holiday on the Buses, though. So here the bus turning into Aycliffe Road from Leeming Road. Just pause it here. This here at this point, you can see the bus is just heading down London Road again. It runs right through the small town of Shenley. Shenley is about 2 miles to the northeast of Boreham Woods, where Elsley Studios was. Good, so you can see that they didn't travel very far at all for filming. So just press play again. This isn't very far from the White Horse pub where they are coming down now. And now we've paused it here. This is Newcombe Road here. You can see the house in the background that's undergone great extensions. A great extension to it. It's much larger now. The interesting thing is when you look there, they're about to he ties a bit of wire on to secure it. You can see when the motorbike takes off and goes around the corner, you can see that the pavement, they were in the midst of, obviously around that time, putting down paving slabs, because that's just like a sandy surface on top of the pavement. There you can see it there, just in the bike's about to move away now. You can see the sand there. So they're obviously in the midst of about to put down paving slabs. This is Cowley Hill, where the bike's coming down and it's about to turn into Green Street. This is right at the north outskirts of Boreham Wood, heading out of Boreham Wood now. Now here, if I pause it here, when the Olive's shaking from side to side and the sidecar, this is Wash Lane. Now Wash Lane used to be the main road going into London, but then they built the extension to the motorway, which was SD1, and joined in, went in all the way into London. So this road became obsolete. It was a road that was prone to flooding and all of that. So it then went into disuse. It's not used for anything at all now. It's just used for dog walkers and joggers and things like that. It's not actually open to traffic or anything. So if you went there and looked at this location now, the road is very much narrower. All the grass has grown inwards, so it's a lot more narrower street. So just press play again now, and you'll see here the giveaway here. There's this tree here that just passed. It's got distinctive sort of like markings on it. And the Humpback Bridge is still there, but it has been rebuilt and all of that since then. Now, when it cuts, I'll just pause it here. You can see the sidecar splits. Now, if you have a look on one side of it, you can see it's actually got 2 wheels there. That's obviously so that it enables it to roll smoothly. but it's actually a continuity error here. Just when it's splitting at the triangle part of the road here, you've got the motorbike goes to the right and the sidecar goes to the left. But in all honesty, the sidecar now ends up in the direction that they head. The motorbikes actually ends up. So bit of a continuity error there. This is Rectory Lane and Shenley again. We go to. So just press play again. Incidentally, Michael Robbins, he couldn't ride a motorbike, so it wasn't him. When you see the motorbike moving, close-up shots with him on the motorbike's being towed. Far away shots, it will have been Tex Fuller riding the motorbike. So this here, if I pause it now, where the bus is pulling into part of the studio. This is actually, which doubles as you think it's the hospital, but it's actually stages 1 and 2 of the studios here that are no longer there, that have been demolished. So this would be at the front end of the car park of Tesco's today. If you watch closely when the man brings out a trolley, you can see a 2 in the background on the side wall. See the 2 there behind the man when Alpha's just asking him to prepare the delivery room. I think he's about to. You can see a 2 there. That would be to denote soundstage 2. So just press play again. And you do see that building there that they're about to go into, the black banding around the butt foot of it at the start of Holiday on the Buses, when they're waiting in the queue, at the end of Holiday on the Buses, when they go into the job centre again, you can see out through the doors over to that building again. Now here, I'll just pause it here when we see a shot here of the diversion sign. This is in Rowley Lane and the very eastern end of Boreham Woods. It's classified as Barnet actually, but it really is just a stone's throw from Boreham Woods. It's very much overgrown now here. We've done this on the walking tour a few weeks ago as well. This location, it's really that is very much grown over with bushes and all of that there now. You wouldn't be able to see through to the fields in the background because it's so densely built up with bushes and trees and such like. If I pause it here again, just when you see the bus about to pass the camera here, if you look across and you can see that little white building with a sort of like a turret on the top of it, that was the thatched barn, which was a sort of like I did have a outdoor swimming pool and all that there. It did get converted into a hotel, but it did, and back in the 1950s, 60s, it was used to train British Secret Service agents, would you believe? All at that thatched barn, but that's been demolished now. It did become another hotel, and then became a Holiday Inn, but just recently it's been made into a double tree Hilton now. But it's totally different from what is the thatched barn. So just press play again as you see the bus about to turn out and not go onto the motorway. So that dip is still there. We see Stan and Jack running out of to remove the diversion sign. So that was going on to the A1, but this then ends up on the M6, is it? I think it is. And then this is at Elstree, the Elstree junction. They're coming off of the turn Edgware, I do believe it is, onto the Elstree, onto the motorway just south of Elstree. So if you watch closely here as well, there's an interesting thing I'll tell you about in a minute. I did get down to take photographs of this location, although it is really difficult to get to, obviously, because it's on a hard shoulder. Eunice Black again. So the motorcycle policeman there that's pulled up, that is Gavin Campbell, his name is. Now, Gavin Campbell, I've spoken to him on the phone, and he interestingly told me that, which I can well believe, he was actually, he only seen this, when he watched the film again a few years later, he noticed that they had dubbed his voice. So that's not Gavin Campbell's voice that you hear there. If you remember Gavin Campbell, he went on to be in That's Life. Now, in That's Life, he was very softly spoken. So they probably watched it, and he was obviously, if that's the way that he naturally spoke, he was softly spoken. They probably didn't think he was authoritative enough for the policeman, so they had to put in a more sort of like more authoritative tone to the voice. So that's probably why they dubbed it, I would imagine. But he said he didn't notice until years later when he watched the film that they had actually dubbed his voice, although they didn't tell him that they had dubbed his voice. So just press play again now. Funny line here, she says she only wanted to go to Tesco's. Well, it's a Tesco's that's standing right there on that spot right now. Now here you see, I'll just pause it here, the St Luke's Maternity Hospital. If you look beyond that, you've got the Grosvenor Hotel, That is now the Elstree Inn in Borehamwood. So it's right on Shenley Road. The what is the building behind the St Luke's Maternity Hospital? That was like our just our admin block of Elstree Studios. So just press play again. Interestingly, there is 2 telephone boxes still there, but they're of a newer design. Although I don't think they're actually telephone boxes now. They, a lot of them are being converted into something else. Baby for this film was actually played by Zachary Wolfe, no relation to the writer Ronnie Wolfe, by the way. Jack about to pounce now. We see Stan walking up Clarendon Road towards 2 Malden Road. Like this bit, yeah, she starts putting the bright water on the baby's stomach. Great bit this as well when Arthur sits on the dirty nappy. He says, I find this all quite a strain. It's a great line. Again, the facial reactions are just great from Michael Robbins. I did. I like to say it so quietly as well. Now, we've paused it here just when Stan's about to go into Sally's house. This is actually on 188 Bullhead Road in Borehamwood. So maybe a mile, something like about a mile to the southwest of, southeast, sorry, of Elstree Studios. We know it's here because one of my friends who lives in Boreham Woods has actually knocked on the door there just to confirm that they filmed there. The woman that lived there at the time still lived in that same house up until about maybe 5 years ago. And she said that she recalled them filming something there. She wasn't sure what it was. The producer just told her there'd be a knock at the door. She wasn't to answer it, and that was it. And obviously that would tally in perfectly with Reg coming in here knocking on the door, and he doesn't get an answer, and he goes and looks in the side window. So the windows and all that were exactly the same up until a few years ago. It went under renovation work. I think the house has actually been sold as well. Still looks relatively the same though, so it's that's one good thing. So I'll just press play again. Now, of course, when he goes and looks in through the window and he sees Jack in there, you can tell that that is just a studio set. When he looks in through a downstairs window, I mean, why would there be a downstairs bedroom as well? You can tell that it's just not. Matches your teeth. Like that part as well. Good line. It's Caroline Dowdeswell there. soon changes Stan's mind about quitting. Caroline Dowdeswell is still with us. So let's move into the end credits now. I like the way that they do this here when the banner falls down and then it makes a noise of a drum beat, and then that matches in with the start of the closing credits. The closing theme, I mean. So the sequence here, when you see the bus heading along with a park on the left-hand side of the road, that is all on. This is on Brook Road. This would be heading in the direction towards the studios. At this point, it'd be about a mile and a half away from the studios. That it heads in towards the studios. The park on the left-hand side of the road is Aberford Park. So I hope you've enjoyed this run through the film. This is a closing credits roll there. And you can leave your feedback if you want in your comments page if you enjoyed it. If you want to see me do more reactions like these, live watch-alongs, so to speak, then you can just leave your comments and say, yeah, it's worth doing again. And I'll go on and do the rest of the films and then perhaps move on to the TV series as well. But this was the first film here, biggest box office success of the three films, biggest British film at the box office in '71. Don't be mistaken by saying, oh, it outsold Diamonds Are Forever, because Diamonds Are Forever was only released on Boxing Day 1971, so it maybe had 2-3 days to try and pick up the amount of the box office earnings that On the Bus's film did. So it's not really a fair comparison at all. Okay, so that winds that up. I hope you enjoyed that run through of the film. As I say, you can let me know how you thought about it. If you thought it was good, it worked well, and you can leave that in the comment section. Sorry. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll say goodbye for now. Okay, you can leave your comments, as I say, in the comments box. Okay, so say goodbye for now. If you've got any suggestions as well, if you think it would work better doing it a slightly different way, you can leave that and let me know on that as well. Okay, but I'll say goodbye for now. Bye, everyone.